We are back. 5 days of football, 5 straight days of playoff football is almost over. Not quite over. We have a couple games left. But it's Brian and Jack today. Matt went to the Eagles game, got to see his Birds get a win. Unfortunate for us, great for him. We'll talk to him. You'll hear from him later in the podcast. We'll get an inside scoop from him.
Hopefully we can get something from him.
Yeah, well, if he doesn't send it to us by the time we get to that game, I might have to give him a call.
We'll see.
But yeah, we had 3 days of football, and we're gonna recap it all. But first, a word from SeatGeek. The calendar is flipped to 2025, and that means one thing: the sports action is heating up, and the best place to go to get tickets to playoff football, meaningful basketball games, and maybe some baseball soon is SeatGeek. SeatGeek is the official sponsor of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Whether you're going to watch some Auburn Tigers play at Neville Arena, best team in college basketball, if you want to see the Birds probably choke in the playoffs at the Linc, or maybe you want to buy some early spring training tickets for the spring, SeatGeek is the best place to go. Their one-of-a-kind platform makes finding the best deals easy. Use our code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that's code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. You get $20 off your first purchase. That's a free beer and maybe some crab fries, maybe a hot dog on us. It's a great deal. Use our code. SeatGeek, your best night ever is waiting. Starting it off on Thursday, we had Penn State lose to Notre Dame. My long, terrible nightmare of Penn State and the Eagles winning championships in back-to-back weeks is over. Don't have to worry about that anymore. The quarterbacks in this game were really bad.
You really want to say Riley Leonard was bad?
He ran the ball okay.
Yeah.
He had some really, really bad interceptions.
Well, if you want to talk about bad interceptions, the spotlight is on Drew Aller to end the game out through a walk-off INT. So I don't know if you can really say that Riley Leonard was like that bad. Drew Aller stole the spotlight for how bad he was. I feel like, dude, Riley Leonard, yes, he struggles throwing the ball, but that's kind of his MO. That's his game. He just kills you with his legs, and that's what he did.
Yeah, I guess maybe Aller kind of took away any good that Riley Leonard did. Though the Italian kid they brought in, Notre Dame, at the end of the half, looked like the best quarterback in the game.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And then I thought the exact same thing. That's what opened up Notre Dame's offense and sort of brought them to life and started getting them going because they were absolutely asleep before that.
Yeah, and all of his balls looked great. Pause, but he was throwing good balls.
Yeah, he was slinging it around pretty well. As far as throwing the football goes, he was the best. But look, everything I said about this game was just absolutely true, except the quarterback and the head coach, they just outdid the rest of the team. Penn State all around the board just looked like the better team. Defense top to bottom. The running game was just insane, and the tight end that they have, that guy's a dog, number 44.
Yeah, Warren. He's going to be a really good pro.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's going to be really good at the tight end position. But they just look like the better team. At the end of the day, though, it comes down to who your quarterback is, who your head coach is, and, kicking some field goals, making your damn field goals.
Yeah, no, it's going to be another Penn State team we look back on, and we're like, Abdul Carter's a great pro. Tyler Warren's going to be a great pro. One of those running backs is probably going to be a very good, at least fantasy-relevant running back. We're going to be like, how did this team not at least make it to a natty? And again, It all points back to James Franklin and a mediocre quarterback. Penn State's had the same quarterback for the last 2 decades. It's gone Sam Hackenberg, Sean Clifford, Drew Aller. Who was the last guy? Clifford. Who was before Clifford? Between Hackenberg and Clifford, they had another mediocre white quarterback.
You're not going to get
Trace
me there.
McSorley. It's the same guy over and over again.
Really? Big Trace. It's just like Georgia. You know me, I'm the SEC guy, so it's just like Georgia and their cast of characters with Brom, McCarron. Gosh, I don't even want to go down the whole list. Stetson Bennett. Yeah. At least Carson Beck's out of there. I wonder who the next Georgia quarterback is. I haven't done my research on that yet.
They'll probably grab someone from the portal. I don't know if they can stick with Gunner. Although he's still young, he didn't look that great.
Yeah,
Um,
no, Stockton, he needs to definitely improve this offseason if he wants to start for them next year. But
yeah, my other
um,
big takeaway here before we give Notre Dame some flowers. I know Auburn didn't have a great season, but Keandre Lambert-Smith did. And maybe if he was still on that Penn State team, that offense looks a lot better.
yeah, you're gonna have to fact check me on this. I know Drew Aller only completed 12 passes in this game, but I believe he didn't complete a single pass to a wide receiver.
I want to say you're correct on that. It was all Warren and then Singleton.
Yeah, it was all running backs and tight ends. It's just
Yeah,
you can't win games like that, football games like that in 2024. I don't
all the
care 2025 now, especially.
yeah, all the big plays come from the run game or Tyler Warren's run after the catch. And Keandre Lambert-Smith can just run past everybody, and we saw that at Auburn. Didn't really translate to wins there, but probably would have on this Penn State team. And Notre Dame, we'll get to the next game in a bit here, but they're not very. I mean, they're a good football team, but I think as we see with the spread, it's 9.5 right now for Ohio State. I don't know if we're gonna get a better college football game than we did on Thursday.
That's, I mean, that's a fair take. The game's, I mean, this was a great game. So, I mean, it's going to be hard to top. I'm going to take the under. But look, we've been doubting Notre Dame in every matchup this playoff outside of the first game. I think they have that pretty wrapped up. But they powered past
Oh,
Georgia. They
we.
powered
I
past.
mean, I at least got Myers in my ear, and I started to believe a little bit in Indiana.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, I was hating on Indiana from the start, but they breezed past Georgia. They beat the Nittany Lions here. Not that they breezed by them by any means, but I don't know, man. We keep on doubting the Irish. 9.5 points is a lot of points.
Yeah, it is a lot of points. I just might as well get right into the Ohio State beating Texas. Quinn Ewers might just be bad.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I don't think he's all that good. And as if I'm a Longhorn fan, I don't want him back for next year. You know, go to the draft, please.
Yeah, I saw a couple people have this take, but it's going to be another thing with with Penn State looking back at all their good pros. We're going to be sitting here in a decade, and we're going to be wondering who was starting over Arch Manning in the college football playoff for Texas. Like, I know Arch maybe not be there yet, but Quinn Ewers, we saw it throughout the year. He's just throwing noodle arm balls, like never really had that top tier quarterback look to him, despite
Yeah,
everyone saying he was, and it kind of bit him in the ass here.
yeah. I mean, look, I don't have much to say on that. I'm not the biggest fan of Quinn Ewers. I really thought that you know the other pieces around Texas and around Quinn, like would help boost him up, but they can only take him so far. Putting up 14 points in a semifinal game is just not going to cut it.
Especially when you have a first and goal on the 1 yard line and you proceed to go back 9 yards and then give up a touchdown.
Yeah, and they get strip sacked for a touchdown, like an 80-yard strip sack for a touchdown.
Yeah, that Sawyer kid is going to be good too. He's a very good player. But yeah, Ohio State, I think they got this in the bag. And I want to say our guy Matt Fast that came on for Boldness predicted Ohio State to win this whole
So,
thing.
yeah, it was Matt Fest is our the FCS player, right?
Yep.
Yeah, he is the one. I believe you're absolutely right about that. That call to Ohio State coming all the way through. He said they're going to stomp on Tennessee. They did. He said that they're going to upset Oregon. They did. He said that they were going to beat Texas. They did. So I do believe he said they were going to beat Georgia in the championship. I don't think he saw Notre Dame coming, but he's one step away. It's a hell of a parlay there.
Yeah, that's and yeah, there's really no holes in this Ohio State. Jeremiah Smith had 3 yards.
One catch for 3 yards, and they still won by two touchdowns.
It's like, yeah, Travion Henderson's a great player. Then they still have Junkins there too. Will Howard is just the quarterback play, I guess, this season, which is kind of indicative of this quarterback draft class. It's very I saw Will Howard's NFL ceiling comp was Daniel Jones.
Stealing?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit unfair to Will Howard. Daniel Jones does have a playoff win.
And I'm really glad you brought up Daniel Jones. I don't know if you've been seeing it or not, but like NFL Twitter and NFL meme, social media, they've been making these like the quarterbacks who are floundering out, they make them look like Daniel Jones. Have you been seeing that?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna start sending them to you then because I just saw a Jordan Love, like his face morphed with Daniel Jones, and it was like Daniel Jones with his dreads, like Jordan Love's dreads and his facial hair. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, we'll get to that Jordan Love's performance a little later, but I'm not really blaming him as I'm putting a little bit of blame on him, but not too much, and I'll explain why later. But I guess we'll get into the NFL. We'll have Notre Dame and Ohio State next Monday. So maybe we'll have to go live for that or do something because I don't want to wait until Thursday's show to talk about that game.
Yeah,
Unless it's
that is Monday.
yeah, unless it's just a complete blowout, which very well could be. Then I don't know how much time we need to spend on that. But I'm not putting much faith in Notre Dame. I like Marcus Freeland, but that's about
At
it.
8.5 points, are you are you comfortable taking them on the spread or no?
I see. I don't even think. I think 8.5 might be too low. Ohio State, they haven't lost or they haven't won a game by less than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, they beat Tennessee by 25 points. They beat Oregon by 20 points, and then they just beat Texas by 2 touchdowns, 14 points.
I guess they're trending.
They are trending down, 25 to 20 to 14. Maybe next game is 8.
Yeah, maybe they only win by 7. What, they won 5 and then 6 and then
We'll see, man. We'll see. But I'm leaving the door open for Notre Dame to cover that. The more I'm thinking back about the game, the more I'm seeing Riley Leonard's noggin just get absolutely scrambled. So maybe not, but yeah, it's
yeah,
it's been a good college football playoff, I'd say so far.
it has. I think we've seen better college football playoff games than although
Yeah,
wild card weekend's always weird in the NFL.
no, the first round was pretty brutal. I'm not gonna lie, but since then, I've been pretty happy with the product.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a brutal first round game, Justin Herbert turned into a pumpkin. The Chargers lost 12 to 32. Ooh, I can't really say I had any major takeaways from this game. Do you have any faith in Houston to make a run? I know how much you hate them.
I have zero faith in Houston to make a run, and you should know that. I mean, this was all. Look, I've said it before. Look, I'm just gonna say this because I've said it before, and I'll say it again. CJ Stroud is a Nico Collins merchant. Nico Collins, what he can do catching the football, the how he can catch anything that comes near him. He's strong. He breaks tackles. He runs straight by people. He's fast. Like dude is an absolute alpha. And I'm happy for him. He's getting to put it on display in the playoffs. But CJ Stroud's not good enough. He's not.
CJ Stroud is the first. I know the Texans have only been around for what, 20 years? Yeah, they're 2001, 24 years now. But he's the first player in Texans history to win a playoff game in his first 2 seasons. And it's not exactly,
I
a
mean, if
great
you
history
look,
of quarterbacks.
yeah, like the history of quarterbacks there are Deshaun Watson, Matt Schaub,
David Carr,
David Carr. That's right. I was trying to think of the oldie.
TJ Yates,
Oh, stop it.
Tom Savage. They've had some rough quarterback play. And
Yeah,
Watson
I mean,
did
like we can start naming people like Brock Osweiler. I don't think we really need to though.
forgot they handed him a bag. That was crazy. Yeah, but I mean, Stroud played well. I don't know if he's going to be able to play well against the Chiefs next week. Definitely won't be able to play better than Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I don't know if I think that he played well. He definitely didn't play well enough to beat the Chiefs next week. He's gonna have to put on a much better performance than he did in this game. This was all the defense and honestly just Justin Herbert making mistakes, overthrowing Lad McConkey, who had an insane day, almost 200 yards. I was, little side story. I was in the CVS earlier today picking up some needs, some errands. And I was getting toothpaste, and I was getting this new toothpaste, and on the bottle it said extra vibrant white. My first thought was Lad
Lad
McConkey.
McConkey.
I don't know what that says about me. I don't know what that says about Lad McConkey, but he is a very vibrant white.
I see how your brain got there.
Dude, honestly, I think I'm just on social media too much.
That's probably what it is. I think we all are. And these 5 straight days of football are really just, it's pretty much all going through my mind right now is just football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm tweeting some of the games, what's happening, this, that, Auburn basketball the other day, and I think I just see too many memes on there.
Probably. But yeah, Justin Herbert in this one, 4 picks. Just to put a bow on it, he is the first player in NFL history to throw more interceptions in a postseason game than he did in the entirety of the regular season.
I did see that 4 picks in this game, only 3 during the regular season. I mean, only having 3 throughout the regular season is extremely impressive. But then you go and do this. Look, he's only had 2 playoff games so far. He choked away the first one against my Jags, and then this second one, he absolutely, I mean, not really choked the game away. He never really had it to begin with, but 4 interceptions. He's going to start having to show some postseason success, or people are going to start doubting him. He might be the next Phillip Rivers. I mean, go Bolts.
Yeah, those poor Charger fans, all 3 of them.
and the implant.
Yeah.
The plant fan with the glasses.
Did she make it to this? I didn't see her on the cameras.
I didn't see her on the cameras either.
And this
It was
wasn't.
in Houston.
Yeah, but you'd think that. I think it was. This is an ESPN game, right? Or was it ABC? The same parent company?
Maybe she got a lot going on with the fires.
Maybe. Yeah. And thoughts and prayers to everyone dealing with that nonsense. I don't think we talked about the Vikings Rams getting moved to Arizona on the last show. Maybe we did, but
We did not touch on that, but it is in Glendale.
yeah, first time since 1928. I may have that year wrong, but the 1920s was the last time a playoff game had to get moved to a neutral site.
Really?
Just
Look, I mean,
unprecedented.
like to anybody that doesn't think that plays like a factor, it does. It definitely does. It's a shame for the Rams to have to deal with that on top of, what's going on in their community. But it does make sense to move the game.
Yeah, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they come out and if they're able to put that in the back of their heads and play a good game. I'll be betting on the Vikings, but
Well, I mean, do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to wait
we'll,
until?
we'll save it for the end here. We can talk
Yeah,
about
save it for the end.
another all of a sudden mediocre playoff team, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They lose to the Ravens. Mike Tomlin has now lost 6 straight playoff games, but 5 straight seasons of one and done in the playoffs.
Wait, 5 straight seasons he's made the playoffs and lost in the first round.
Yep.
Okay, first of all, making the playoffs 5 straight years is impressive, but losing in the first round every year, that's like most coaches would have been fired already.
Yep. And I think that's 5 straight playoff appearances. I think in 20, they might have missed it in the COVID year. There was one season they missed the playoffs. The last
Oh,
five
okay.
times they've been in the playoffs, they've been bounced in the
Okay.
first round.
Yeah, I mean, look, I love Tomlin, but this is you said like surprisingly another mediocre playoff team. Like this is not surprising. Like we were seeing it for weeks now. I want to say 7, 8 weeks at this point. The Steelers' offense just is not good enough to win football games. When they first made those switch to Russell Wilson, I was all for it. I genuinely thought that if they want to go to the playoffs and go win a Super Bowl, Russell Wilson is a guy who can elevate your team in a way that a Justin Fields really can't. Even though Justin Fields is a great athlete, just you got to trust a guy who's been there before, has a ring. So I supported it, but it went downhill quick, and they didn't make any adjustments. And they just walked right into this playoff game thinking that maybe something's going to be changed, but it's just insanity. They just couldn't get anything going.
Yeah, and I don't know it's this has been a half decade now, I guess longer, post Big Ben, and they still haven't really figured out what they're going to do at quarterback. They've been trying to kind of what we saw from the Colts the last couple of years before Anthony Richardson, where they just try to use these veterans. And they've been doing it better. They've been making the playoffs, but the ceiling needs to be higher, especially in a conference where you're dealing with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, no, they just haven't really had a legitimate shot.
No, and I did find it. So the last time the NFL moved a playoff game to a neutral ground was 1936. It was the NFL championship game between Boston, who is now the Washington Commanders, and the Green Bay Packers. It was supposed to be played in Fenway Park, but due to bad ticket sales, they moved it to the Polo Grounds in New York.
In 1936?
Yeah.
Jeez, bro, that's crazy.
So unprecedented times there. But yeah, last thing going back to the Ravens here. Derrick Henry is averaging 114 yards per game in his playoff career.
Yeah, look, he's insane. I tried. Look, I shouldn't say I tried telling y'all, but on my playoff prediction, I got the Ravens as my Super Bowl winner. I mean, this is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is a big enough piece to push these Ravens over the edge. I mean, they've been so close so many times, and having a ground game like that. I mean, dude, we said it when he first got signed in the preseason. Like, how are you going to stop the Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry rushing duo when Derrick Henry is just pounding it right at you, pause, all game, and you got to deal with that physicality. And then you got Lamar Jackson, one of those times is just going to keep it real quick and go run it for 30, 40 yards. I mean, you can't stop it. No one's been able to stop it. I will really be surprised if they lose a football game for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the only issue kind of thought about coming into this game was Jose Flowers, will they be able to throw the ball? And they were able to throw it fine. Isaiah Likely stepped up, and Bateman had a touchdown. I was surprised to see how many people are picking the Ravens. I guess surprised is the wrong word, but it seems like the Ravens, although they're not the betting favorite, they are the people's favorite to win the Super Bowl. And going back to our staff picks here, I didn't touch on this in the Chargers game, but I was the only one to pick Houston. So I'm out to an early lead there.
I did know that. I did know that you were the only person to pick Houston, so that was good for you. We all picked the Ravens correctly. We all picked the Bills correctly. We all picked the Eagles correctly, I believe, as well. So yeah, that's the only difference maker right now. I guess you are up on everybody, but you also have the Commanders, where most of the rest of the staff has the Bucs. So we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be these last two will be a good indicator to see who has an early advantage, but it's going to come down to those Super Bowl picks. And I was also the only one to pick the Chiefs, which I found surprising, but I know there's a lot of Chiefs hatred around this podcast. So
yeah, look, I mean, I said it last year after Mahomes won the AFC Championship game against Lamar. I said, look, if he wins this game, I remember we talked about it on the podcast before that game. I said, if Mahomes wins this AFC Championship game, beats Lamar, I will never doubt him again. And I didn't. They won the Super Bowl. If you were putting a gun to my head, I would pick the Chiefs to win it all this year. I'm not betting against Mahomes until proven otherwise. But I don't want to see that, Brian. So I'm betting on the Ravens.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that at all. This divisional game is going to be really fun. And if you're a Chiefs fan, you're kind of just rooting for, I guess, 5 overtimes, because you can have that now in the NFL with these new overtime playoff rules. It's until you don't score. It's not first team score touchdown wins anymore. But we got the Bills and the Ravens because the Bills beat up on the Broncos today. when Bo Nix was at Auburn, I used to always say he was either Texas A&M Johnny Manziel or Browns Johnny Manziel. Today, he was Browns Johnny Manziel. Pressured on 52% of his dropbacks, highest of the season. Bills off defense had a field day. Their offense was just as good behind Josh Allen. It's going to be a fun divisional game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the Bills and the Ravens is going to be a great matchup. But look, the Broncos, like they came out so hot with that deep ball. There was a beautifully thrown ball by Bo Nix. And then yeah, he looked like Browns Johnny Manziel from there on out. That's funny. But look, the Broncos, they got a bright future. They were not supposed to be here this year. They have a great defense that always helps out a rookie quarterback. Just continue to put pieces around Bo Nix and grow. I mean, look, the dude's number one wide receiver was your boy Marvin Mims. So
Yeah, Cortland Sutton too. Put some respect on Cortland Sutton.
I won't. I won't do it. But that's a personal thing. But look, you put some pieces around him, get him a legitimate running back, not three okay guys. And yeah, sky's the limit for the Broncos. I mean, they could be a legit contender.
Yeah, they got to be able to run the ball. And as long as Mahomes is in that division, it's going to be tough to win that division. I think the last team to actually win it besides the Chiefs was the Broncos in 2015.
With Hall of Fame quarterback Peyton Manning.
It's been that long, but maybe if they can figure out how to run the ball, the Broncos could definitely make something happen here in the next couple of years. But Bo Nix looks good, and my guy Marvin Mims did have that. They faked the punt, and he converted the fake punt, and I think that was his last catch of the game.
Yeah, look, the Broncos, just like the Steelers, good for you guys. Happy you made it, but you never really had a shot.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. And just looking ahead, and we'll preview this game obviously more in the next show, but the Bills are 1 point favorites against the Ravens in the divisional round. They did play in the playoffs before 2021 divisional. The Bills won that 17-13. But this year, the Ravens beat them 35-10. It's the Bills' first loss of the season in September. I'm really
Look,
looking forward to this.
this is going to be probably this, and then also the consequential game after that, assuming the Chiefs beat up on the Texans as they should. They're going to be two of the better games of these entire playoffs. You know, coming out of the AFC, it's going to be absolute cinema. The Ravens and the Bills, Lamar, Josh Allen. I mean, what else could we ask for?
Yeah, I hope the winner of this game, I hope this is like a 48-45 final. And on the other side, you get the Chiefs just bum rushing the Texans, and then we get, if it's the Bills or the Ravens, just a hot offense going up against that good Chiefs defense. And it's going to be a really fun AFC championship.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for. And honestly, who do you think matches up against? Who do you think matches up better, the Bills or the Ravens against the Chiefs?
Oh, it's tough. I want to say the Ravens almost beat them all the way back in week one. The Bills did beat them.
Did beat them.
I don't know if Buffalo can beat them twice.
And keep in mind, this would be a game in Arrowhead.
Yeah, and it's gonna make it really tough. I think the Ravens have more offensive firepower. That's gonna give that Chiefs defense problems. But in the playoffs, I just trust Josh Allen more. Either way, I think we're gonna get a really good game. I just think the Chiefs have the advantage against both of them.
Don't think you're wrong about that, Brian. I didn't want to admit that out loud, but I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I guess well, we did just get a reaction from Matt, so we'll get into this Eagles and Packers game, and let's get I'll put my phone up to the mic here and we'll get some live reaction to his video. And we'll obviously put it in for you guys in better quality here.
Views from Section 400, Matt here. Post game, Eagles beat the Packers 22-10, wild card round, 3 more to go. Jalen Hurts shaky in his return from the concussion protocol. A.J. Brown reading books on the sideline. They got to clean things up. This is usually a bye round, but, you know, the NFL implemented an extra game, so the 2 seed doesn't get the bye anymore. This was a cleanup week. This was a get-right week. We got a lot more to do. 3 more to go. We're on our way to Knoll. Let's go, Birds, baby.
He seems confident. I like that he dropped in A.J. Brown reading books on the sideline. Didn't know if the stadium would pick that up. Um,
Yeah, well, I remember, watching this game earlier. I think Tom Brady said it multiple times, like, yeah, AJ Brown with one catch on the day or one target on the day or whatever it was. I'm just like, damn, like he's gonna be pretty freaking upset. Hopefully, he doesn't start a whole shitstorm just because he's not getting the ball. I know Devonta Smith had a big catch, so yeah, Matt sounds confident though.
yeah,
He should be.
he should be, and I think he's cautiously optimistic, which is what I think he would be as an Eagles fan. It's really going to just come down to Jalen Hurts looked rusty today, but he's
Yeah,
also the first quarterback ever to come back from a 21-day absence to start a playoff game, which is also a wild stat. But yeah, you would expect rust, and Saquon Barkley did his
wait,
thing.
21 days or more?
21 days or more without playing a game, and then you start in the playoffs.
You're telling me that? I find that hard to believe.
I did too. And maybe the source I think it was NFL Network I saw it on. So
Like you're telling me there's not a quarterback who hurts his ankle early on or something like that, has to do like a minor surgery and then like comes back for the playoffs.
no.
I find that hard to believe.
Yes, it's like I said, it's unbelievable. But I'll fact check it as we're gonna take a little break in between here to get to Commanders Bucs in a little bit. So I'll fact check it during our break and then come back when we do Commanders Bucs to make sure it's right the right information there. But yeah, as I mentioned earlier, the Packers it's hard to win football games when all of your receivers get hurt, and that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, that is what happened. But I mean, look, this is playoff football. You're playing in Philadelphia against the Eagles. They're going to hit the shit out of you. They're going to try and break your bones. Nothing wrong with that. This is football. It's a contact sport. But you got to show up and be ready to play. And the Packers honestly just didn't look like they were ready for a playoff game today. Outside of like Tom Brady made a mention of it on the cast, but he was saying that Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed, looked like they were giving extra effort, playoff effort. And I totally agree with Josh Jacobs. Did you see that touchdown run he had?
Yeah, it got called that he was down at the one, but that was an incredible run.
It did get called down at the one, but that was an all time run. That's an all time playoff run in my opinion. It would have been if he actually ended up finishing the touchdown, but uh, look, Josh Jacobs, I'm sure he's very happy to be out of Las Vegas, not playing for the Raiders anymore, and he got to play a playoff football game, and he looked pretty damn good in it.
Yeah, I just I'm scared the Eagles are gonna make a run here. I think the Eagles walk all over the Bucs.
They didn't in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, that was the Nick Sirianni led. They almost had a mutiny in the locker room. I don't know what happened to that team last year.
They just crumbled. That was an internal thing. They same roster, like minus Jason Kelsey, and they're debatably better this year. So
Well, they got some upgrades. They got another. What was your toothpaste called? Vibrant White.
extra vibrant.
They got an extra Vibrant White and Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, and Nakobe Dean's an All Pro now somehow.
Yeah, no, they
Or
upgrade
Zach Bond. Zach
they
Bond.
upgrade the defense, but look, I mean, they're a good team. They're a good team. They're playing well. They played hard. And honestly, I don't think there's another team in the NFC that can match their physicality outside of the Lions. So give me that as the NFC Championship.
That would be fun if we get. I mean, either really just the Chiefs have to take care of business, and then the Lions and the Eagles, and whoever comes out of that Bills Ravens game, that should be a really fun Final Four.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
And the Washington Commanders, the Jaden Daniels led Washington Commanders, that I, by the way, in our NFC East preview had in the playoffs, have won a playoff game. They beat the Bucs 23-20 on a doinked field goal.
Yeah, doink for the winner. I mean, everybody in the stadium started cheering for half a second because they thought that it was going to doink out, but it doinked in. I mean, dude, shout out the Commanders. I mean, I said it on our last pod. I will once again doubt Jaden Daniels, and once again he proved me wrong. So, got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah, this may be the end of you getting proved wrong though, because now they have to play the Lions.
That is set.
But for now, the Commanders can enjoy it, and it's actually they said this on the broadcast a lot. Jaden Daniels, the first rookie quarterback to win on the road since Russell Wilson. But the trend I thought was more interesting. This is the third year in a row now a rookie quarterback has won a playoff game. We had Brock Purdy in 22, CJ Stroud last year, and now Jaden Daniels this year. Don't
Mhm.
know if that trend will keep up next year.
I wouldn't think so, but you never know, dude. These guys, they come in and they surprise.
Yeah, you never know. And we had Skylar Thompson in a playoff game in 2022. John Wolford in 2020 started a playoff game for the Rams. But it's about the Commanders right now. And Jaden Daniels, they were chanting MVP for him. There were a lot of Commanders fans in Tampa.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. They traveled well for this one.
But yeah, they were chanting MVP for him. He was playing like an MVP. Again, I think this is the seventh, eighth game now they've won when it was either tied or they were trailing with a minute or less left. They're just finding ways to win football games.
Yeah, look, I mean, they're one of those teams that like you really need to be up on them towards the end of the game because if you get in a close matchup like this, they seem to win those games. Just like the Chiefs, man. I mean, I'm not going to call them the Chiefs, but you can't let them get, within one score with Patrick Mahomes with the ball or Jaden Daniels with the ball. They're going to put up points and do it. They're going to get it done. And, we saw it today. And also shout out Bobby Wagner, Hall of Fame linebacker, Seahawks legend, Legion of Boom legend. I mean, leading tackler for this Commanders team tonight, and just like leader of the defense, and held Baker, who had a pretty good night outside of a couple mistakes.
That fumble was bad at the end.
Yeah, it was. But you know, it's one play, man. Like,
Yeah.
how do you? I don't understand how they only had 20. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't understand because I watched the game. I do understand that it was a very slow or maybe methodical game. The Commanders use a lot of play time or a lot of the clock, a lot of the play clock. So Baker didn't really have that many opportunities, but he only had like three or four completions. Like
Yeah.
he wasn't playing bad. Like Mike Evans was going hard, Bucky Irving was going hard. Um, they just they just couldn't get it done at the very end.
It was a weird game from them offensively. Felt like they didn't really have the ball at all in the second half.
That that's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, actually, they didn't have their second drive in the second half until the fourth quarter.
Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's
And
very long, methodical drives, and I mean they did it too. They definitely pounded the ground with Bucky and did some short passing. So they had some long, sustained drives as well. But yeah, I mean this for two offenses that really didn't get stopped all too much. This was definitely a low scoring affair.
it was weird because Bucky Irving had a good game, but against this run defense that is really non-existent for Washington, you expected him to just put his stamp on the game, and he scored that touchdown. But besides that, wasn't much.
No, I mean he ran okay. I think it was, if I'm remembering correctly, 17 for 77, something around 4.5 a carry, which like is good. Don't
Yeah,
get
it
me
was a good
wrong.
game,
That's
but
that's that's good, but
kind of expected him to just like take that game over, and it never happened.
yeah.
Um, but those running backs in Detroit, I think Montgomery will actually be back.
Is he? No, I thought that was a season-ending injury.
He, last I heard from Campbell, he was trending towards returning, uh, and it looks like he will be returning.
Okay.
So they will have both running backs against. Yeah, I might be slamming the Lions in that game. But we do have the time and dates for these games now. So on Saturday, the first game, the Houston Texans again
Of
get
course.
put in the 4:30 slot. 4:30 at Kansas City. Then the Commanders Lions will be the primetime game on Saturday. Vikings/Rams at Eagles will be 3 o'clock on Sunday, and then 6:30 on Sunday is Ravens Bills. Appreciate the NFL putting that Sunday game a little earlier so we can get our recording in, not at 11:20 at night.
Yeah, and I also appreciate them putting that best game, saving the best game for last. I mean, Ravens Bills is going to be a hell of a way to end my week.
Yeah, both those games on Sunday should be pretty good. Saturday, might be a college basketball day.
Showing no love to the Texans Chiefs.
I think, listen, that game could be good if CJ Stroud just does what he did against Georgia in the college football playoff. And
Look, if CJ Stroud can cook against the Chiefs in this playoff game, consider me impressed. I won't give you, I won't start saying top 10 or any BS like that, but I will give him his flowers if he can cook the Chiefs. I would love to see anybody cook the Chiefs, regardless of if it's CJ Stroud and the Texans or not.
well, I'm happy you brought up your rankings, and I assume these are going to be a yearly thing on the site.
Mhm.
Now that Jaden Daniels has a playoff win under his belt, has he earned a top 15 ranking in your power rankings?
He's almost, I can almost guarantee you that he's going to be a top 15 quarterback. I mean, look, he took a team that was and borderline is bad.
It's their first playoff win since 2005.
Right. Like you still look up and down the roster, like they're not a great football team as far as the players go. Like so you got to give a lot of credit to the new coaching staff, Dan Quinn and sorry, I'm just watching this doink over and over again. Um
I really thought that was not going in
what
after
was I what was I saying? You got to give a lot of credit to the
Cliff.
coaching staff, Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn. Um they're doing a great job, but dude, Jaden Daniels has turned around a 4.5 win total team into a divisional playoff team. It's incredible.
Yeah, and he like we said, he was getting those MVP chance. It might just be a couple years till he's in that conversation. I
He's
got
already doing he's already doing Lamar things, so I'll give him that.
happy. I'm happy I got at least one take right on this show. Most of my takes when it comes to players being good go poorly. So I'm happy Jaden Daniels came through for me.
Yeah, I mean you had a couple of almost takes this year. Like the Bengals Super Bowl didn't happen, but they were almost a playoff team.
Yeah, I said Burrow
Um,
MVP. He played like an MVP.
he did play like an MVP. He almost had 50 touchdowns.
Sam Darnold, I guess, had a good year, and I was said he had a good ball.
That is true. I'll give you that.
We'll see. I guess before we wrap it up here, because it is late, where do the Bucs go from here? Are they just going to continue to be the best team in that bad division?
Where do the Bucs go from here? Well, there's a chance they lose their offensive coordinator. I know Josh McCown's getting interviewed around the league, but you keep Todd Bowles. I think. I think he's done a fine job in Tampa. You obviously keep Baker, Mike Evans. Definitely, I mean, Bucky Irving was a rookie this year, so you won't have to worry about that. But yeah, I mean, look, like Godwin is a huge player to be missing. He was a very very vocal point of their offense. Focal, excuse me. I don't
Football.
know. Maybe you just gotta revamp the defense. The Bucks are always known as a good defense. Maybe you just gotta pick up some more players around there.
Yeah, they are
Uh,
getting very old on that side of the ball. And Jamel Dean can't stay healthy, War Eagle.
More Eagle. But yeah, I mean, look, Baker's playing, dare I say, and he played at almost an MVP level this year. And they have a good O line. I think they just need to be healthy and work on some depth, I guess.
Yeah, I want to say they can still get back. I like Baker Mayfield, but it's going to be an issue if they keep on flaming out. Or I guess they won a game last year. Or no, they lost to the Lions last year.
No, they beat the Eagles in the first round
That's
last
what
year.
happened. Yeah. Yeah, just going back to this stat here. Russell Wilson, like we said, the last rookie quarterback to win a playoff game on the road. That list is now Jaden Daniels, 2025, Russell Wilson, 2012, Mark Sanchez in 2009, Joe Flacco, 2008, and Pat Hayden in 1976. Pretty interesting group of names there.
Yeah, definitely goes to show that it's not just about the quarterback.
No. But with this Commanders team, it's a lot about the quarterback.
Definitely.
But I don't think we have much faith in the Commanders to move on from here.
No,
Should be
no,
a
I
fun
will
game,
be
though.
taking the Lions in that one for sure.
Let me see before we hop off, I can find a spread. It's opening at Lions -10. I think I like the +10 at least.
Yeah, I don't hate the +10 at all, actually.
And 10 points is a lot of points when you don't really have a defense. And the Lions don't really have
I
it.
could also see the Lions just coming out so excited for this game and dropping like 40, 50 points on them.
Oh, they're gonna drop a lot of points. It's just I think Jane Daniels can answer enough there. Maybe 10 that seems like a pretty good number.
I'll have to get in the lab, look at some key data points, and I'll get back to you guys
Well,
before the next game.
if you want to get all of our you as in the listeners want to get all of our bets, make sure you tune in on Thursday, where we will preview all the games and get Matt in here for his reactions on everything from this weekend. But I guess we'll wrap it up here because I am exhausted. I'm not used to recording this late. I'm sure you're in the same boat.
Yeah, I can tell. I can hear it in your voice. I hope the listeners are cool with you, honestly, like whispering to them.
Am I that quiet too?
No, you're hitting them with like the raspy voice,
It's been a long day, long weekend.
like it's a 2002 R&B track.
In Arizona. I know we previewed it a little bit on the last show, but we didn't know it would be played in Arizona. So have your thoughts changed of who's winning this game?
No, I'm still rocking with the Rams. I think, especially with everything that's going on in LA, just gonna help fuel their fire and prompt them to a win in this first round. So I'm sticking with the Rams, the red hot Rams, and they're gonna get a win over the Vikings. They're gonna scorch them.
I don't know how to react to that choice of wording, but I appreciate the puns, even though it is an unfortunate pun to have to make.
Dude, look, it's a very unfortunate situation. I'm just hoping I can make some people laugh.
Yeah, I like the Vikings here. I think Sam Darnold has at least one playoff win in him, and then it'll all come crumbling down with whoever they have to play next week. But yeah, I'll go with the Vikings. I think I picked the Vikings in our bracket too, so I'll stick to my guns and go with the Vikings. I had them when it was in LA. That stadium is going to be like 70% purple. In LA, it'll probably be 85% purple. In Arizona now. Give me the Vikings.
Look, I'm gonna trust McVay. I'm gonna trust Stafford. That is just by and far away the most important thing in this game is Stafford versus Darnold. And I know what Matt Stafford's gonna look like at his best and at his worst. I know what that looks like for Sam Darnold too. Don't get me wrong, Sam Darnold's best can win this game against the Los Angeles Rams, but his worst is worse than what we saw from Justin Herbert yesterday.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if we'll see 4 interceptions. I don't know if the Rams defense is good enough to get 4 interceptions.
Sam Darnold's bad enough to throw 4 interceptions.
Throws a good ball.
You and Sam Darnold balls, man.
But yeah, that'll do it for us.
We do appreciate you guys if you did make it this far in the podcast. You make it this far in every show. It's kind of wild. We started this last football season, and we're pretty close to wrapping up another football season. So we appreciate all the support. We'll see you on Thursday, and stay tuned for the Super Bowl drinking game. I'm already thinking about ideas for that. I know it was a hit last year.
It's always a hit.
See you guys in the next one.
Peace.